Hello friends, today I'm going to explain a mystery and horror movie called Oh Diddy. This movie is about the haunting secrets of Danny's house. The movie begins in a small, secluded village. A woman named Danny is seen busy repairing an old house she and her husband, Ted, recently moved into. Ted is a brain doctor, often occupied with his work. The new house is in an area with poor network coverage, making communication challenging. Danny, feeling isolated, spends her days fixing up the house. After days of effort, she finally finds a spot in the house where she gets a signal and calls Ted. They chat briefly before Ted informs her that he has to stay at the hospital overnight due to work, leaving Danny to spend the night alone in the creaky old house. To make herself feel safer, Danny sets up a tent inside the house near the main door. Late at night, as she tries to sleep, she hears a noise. She notices an unknown man peeking through the window. The man, with an unsettling presence and a pair of fake eyes, speaks to Danny. He warns her that her life is in danger and urges her to let him in. Danny, understandably terrified, refuses to open the door. The man continues, his tone oddly gentle and caring, insisting that someone has entered the house to kill her. He advises Danny to call the police if she doesn't trust him. Unsure of what to do, Danny approaches the door. The scene abruptly cuts, leaving viewers in suspense about whether she opened the door. The next moment reveals a horrifying turn. Both the man with fake eyes and Danny are found brutally murdered. Months later, the story shifts to Ted visiting an antique shop owned by Danny's twin sister, Darcy. Darcy, blind since birth, possesses psychic abilities. She can sense paranormal activities and has a deep connection to the spiritual realm. Darcy is devastated by Danny's death and determined to uncover the truth. However, Ted dismisses her psychic claims as nonsense. During his visit, Darcy holds a vine in her hand, explaining that it connects to a boy's life who was also murdered. Through a bell attached to the vine, she feels she can uncover more about the tragedy. Ted hands Darcy a handkerchief belonging to the man with fake eyes, as she requested. Darcy intends to use it to delve into the man's thoughts and motivations on the night Danny was killed. As they talk, Darcy learns that Ted has started a relationship with a colleague at the hospital, planning to marry her soon. Hurt but concealing her emotions, Darcy deduces that Ted's affair may have begun before Danny's death, possibly contributing to her sister's isolation. Later that evening, Darcy uses the handkerchief in a ritual. As she touches it, a shocking vision overwhelms her, leaving her in tears. She retreats to a storeroom containing a wooden box and other mysterious objects tied to deceased individuals. Darcy's psychic powers allow her to connect with these objects, revealing their tragic histories. Meanwhile, Ted's new partner, uneasy about staying in the house where Danny died, shows Ted photos from a camera she found. The camera, which belonged to Danny, had a feature that automatically took pictures. One image appears to show Danny's shadow, unsettling Ted's partner, though Ted dismisses it as a coincidence. As Ted prepares for another night shift, his partner decides to stay at her own house until his schedule changes. This leaves Ted alone with his secrets. Darcy, growing more suspicious of Ted, confronts him. She accuses him of orchestrating Danny's murder to inherit her property and marry his lover. Ted denies the accusations and offers to involve the detective investigating Danny's case to prove his innocence. He even leaves his phone behind as a gesture of goodwill, asking Darcy to answer any incoming calls. Unbeknownst to Darcy, Ted had conspired with his lover, a nurse, to kill Danny. The nurse, a psychopathic killer, carried out the murder under Ted's orders. The man with fake eyes, though mentally unstable, overheard their plans and tried to warn Danny. Tragically, Danny didn't believe him and was killed. The nurse, framing the man, made it seem as though he was responsible. Ted's schemes don't end there. He plans to kill Darcy next. Before leaving her house, he loosens a tile on the floor, ensuring she will fall when she moves to answer the phone. He assigns the nurse the task of finishing Darcy off. When Ted calls from the hospital, Darcy falls as planned, injuring her head. The nurse arrives, but before she can act, a wooden doll in Darcy's storeroom comes to life. The doll attacks the nurse, forcing her to flee. She collapses and wakes up tied to a hospital bed, with Ted standing over her. Ted manipulates the situation, framing the nurse as the culprit behind Danny and Darcy's deaths. The nurse pleads for her life, promising not to expose him, but Ted coldly refuses. He believes killing her will erase any suspicions about his involvement. In a shocking twist, Darcy's death completes a ritual she had prepared. Her belief in magic and the supernatural manifests as vengeance. The wooden doll continues to torment the nurse, while a vengeful spirit haunts Ted. He returns home, where he finds the bell Darcy spoke of. Desperate, he rings it, attempting to summon the boy's spirit tied to it. Initially, nothing happens and Ted dismisses the supernatural as a hoax. However, as his life falls apart, his partner leaves him and his guilt consumes him. The boy's spirit appears, signaling Ted's impending doom. The film concludes with a chilling scene. Ted, now alone and tormented, realizes he cannot escape the consequences of his actions. The boy's spirit looms over him, and the screen fades to black, leaving his fate to the audience's imagination. So friends, that's all for today's video. See you in the next video. Subscribe for more videos like this and turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.